Hi everyone. In this next lesson, we're going to create a series of small portraits that are very loose and loosely based on some of the women in the performing arts. And I have a little stack of images here of women who inspire me, and I like their stories. And we're going to use limited art supplies as well. So I have some mixed media paper and Stabilo pencil, mechanical pencil, and charcoal pencils. And then I have a couple brushes, or a few brushes. I have 2, 4, and 8 round. And I didn't mention this in the art supplies video, so don't feel you need to have this. But if you have watercolor on hand, I have a permanent rose and a Van Dyke brown. You don't need this in order to do this little lesson. When I was pulling together my ideas and thoughts and creating the lessons for this class, I came across this quote. I don't know where I found it. I don't know who said it, but I liked it, and I haven't seen it for years, and it was in one of my art journals. And I thought that it really embodies this class and what I'm trying to communicate to everyone, and how important it is that we follow what our heart wants to do. And I think as creatives, sometimes we need permission to do that, and we just need to listen and acknowledge it and create what we want to create, like these women did, and do it in our style. And I think honoring your style is everything, because it's beautiful and unique to you. So with that said, we're going to start with Martha Graham. And Martha Graham, I won't tell you about every single woman in here, but I have to tell you about Martha, because she is considered the pioneer of modern dance. She left the world of classical ballet to create her own method. She wanted to create roles that were more powerful roles for women, strong roles. And she also developed her own technique. It's called the Martha Graham technique. And it is still studied to this day. When I was getting my degree at the University of Michigan and I was in the dance department, I studied the Martha Graham technique for years. And it was very challenging, but it's very passionate. I just loved it. And it kind of resonated with me, some of the things, and it ended up coming into my work as well. So my professor, Peter Sparling, was her principal dancer. And back in the 60s or 70s, I think it was. And he was also her assistant choreographer. And to this day, he still goes and he sets some of her pieces on different professional companies. And I was in Peter's dance company for about 4 or 5 years. And that's about Martha. There's more about Martha, but I'll leave it at that. So I'm going to zoom in, since this is small, and get started on this. Okay, so I'm just going to kind of start like I normally do, but I'm just going to sketch in very lightly, almost like a contour drawing in a way, and just kind of find her features. And I'm not trying to worry about the turn of the head or any of those things. This is loose, and I have this eye way too far over. Just loose, and I want it to be a fun exercise. This is something that you can do when you're traveling, just creating a series. I've created pages of these in the car riding. I'll bring a water brush, and I kind of get obsessed with them. They're just fun to create. All right, and it's okay if everything is wonky. It's what it's supposed to be. So then I'm going to just bring in her little jaw. I create a jawbone. Okay, I know her eyes look a little creepy right now and they're off, but that's okay. It's a little too creepy. I think I have to move it. Okay, let's move it over here. Find her ear. So it's just finding these little features give her some hair. And it doesn't have to be exactly like her hair. A little bun, a little ode to Martha. It is a very powerful force. Okay, so there's Martha. Now I'm going to take my Stabilo pencil. Hope you can see this. Sorry about that. Okay, just noticed that it was kind of lost her lower face. All right, I'm just going to find the eyelid and shade in her eyes, and then the nose. So the thing about Stabilo is you can move it around. I don't usually draw over the entire piece, just certain places, because then I can take my water and kind of move it around. Let's see, I think I have a paper towel somewhere. So if you get too much water, if it's too much for, if you're not happy with how it's moving around, you can just take your paper towel and sop it up. So it's all good. And the great thing is this will dry differently than it looks now. So I want to keep that lip without any color in it. I'm going to bring a little bit of her jaw. Okay. So then you can just go back in while it's still wet and kind of define a lid if you want to move it down, however you need to. It's kind of cool looking, I think. I really like them after they dry, after everything kind of puddles and finds its place. And if you do have the brown, you can use raw umber too. I'm just going to take a little bit. Everything's very watered down. I'm just going to kind of touch in her eyes a little bit and let it bleed together. I think it's really pretty. So, and I like what's happening right here. Now I'm going to do the same thing on her cheeks. Just going to put some water here, kind of let it bleed, and then take a little bit of the pink. It's bleeding a bit too much, so I can just take my brush, dab it up a little. There we go. All right, so now I want to just really darken her hair a little bit more. So you can just kind of go back and keep playing around with everything, but I kind of like how it is right now. I think she needs some ears. Kind of lightly sketch them over here. And then I like to take the mechanical pencil and just kind of pull through and just make marks that I like to make. Okay, I think that's pretty good. I kind of like her. I like Martha. There's a little bun back here. Okay, I'm going to set that aside and let her dry. Okay, there's Martha. Let's see, what about Nina Simone? All right. So I'm going to start the same way and hopefully do her beautiful face some justice here. She's kind of looking up, so I'm going to try and capture that gaze. So I didn't know this about Nina Simone until I started like really looking into her, and I love her music. But she's studied at Juilliard. She was trained in with the classical piano and studied at Juilliard, I think, for a summer. And then due to the climate at the time, she wasn't admitted into some school, and I think there was some discrimination, and then she became an activist in the civil rights movement, and then she started changed her name to Nina Simone, and then started playing in nightclubs. Parents considered the devil's music. So I like that about her. All right, so I just kind of sometimes talking and drawing doesn't always work together. Okay. So I find like by putting these little blocks in for the jaw on this little exercise, it helps me. She needs these fabulous earrings. And then here. So you can get as detailed as you want. This necklace here, but okay. Here we go. So I'm just going to draw in the eyes. I'm going to find her brow. There's a nice shadow under her neck that I'm going to try and capture. So this is, when you're using your reference photos, if you look at, where the shadows, the lights and darks are, then it just makes it, gives you more things to look at and add to your drawing. Okay, oh, kind of liking her. Okay, hopefully I don't mess it up. All right. I'm going to put a little bit of brown in her eyes. Okay. I'm not going to give her pink cheeks. Alright, I'm just going to do a little touch of light right here on this side just to give the illusion of her earrings. All right, kind of like her. All right, I'm just going to leave it like that. I really like how simple it is. I think it came out really pretty. All right. Okay, I'm going to do a few more and just speed up the film and see what we come up with. Okay, I decided to do just 4 of them. I'm really happy with how this works together. So I have Martha Graham, I did Edith Piaf, Anna Pavlova, and then of course the Nina Simone. And I'm really looking forward to seeing, who you choose and how they inspire you. I'm really touched by their stories, very inspired by Martha Graham, very inspired by Nina Simone. And I think that there's something here, and I just wanted to kind of come back again to the idea of practice and repetition. And I've done a lot of these. I do them over and over, and some of them come out just awful. They're just terrible, but I saved them all. And I wanted to share with you how I started it. I have a little art journal here, and I was just sitting on my couch and I was just doodling them, and then they just started morphing into more, and I really became very excited to keep working on them and keep developing them. So it comes back around to that practice and repetition and how you just kind of open up when you do it. So I look forward to seeing what you do, and I hope you enjoyed that lesson. Thanks.